Good morning again, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome back to Bowl TV. My name is Matt Canizaro, and I am live here at the International Training and Research Center in Arlington, Texas. The final day of this portion of the Pan Am Trials for Team USA. We've been here all week long, watching your favorite Team USA members battle a variety of challenging World Bowling lane conditions, all working toward the honor of representing the United States at the 2019 Pan American Games coming up this summer in Peru. We're glad to have everybody back with us this morning. Now, there's a lot going on in the bowling world, and here on Bowl TV, we've also got 4 collegiate sectionals going on at the same time. How about that? So pretty wild to see 5 different options here on Bowl TV from all around the United States. Shout out to my counterparts at those various locations. They've been hard at work today, bringing you the best collegiate action. Now it's time to see the best of the best as Team USA on the lanes here for 6 games on this 39-foot Beijing oil pattern. Six pairs of lanes in action here at the ITRC. And that's 3 with men, 3 with women. And it looks like we're back to having 3 per pair, as it appears that Wesley Lowe has headed off to what I believe is his final opportunity at sectionals. The Intercollegiate Singles Championship sectionals taking place today. Wesley a standout at Wichita State. So now we're back to 9 men and 9 women competing here today at the ITRC. Here in our featured pairs, we'll have the men on the left all day and the women on the right. On the men's pair, we've got E.J. Tackett, Sean Wilcox, and John Janowitz. Really perfectly illustrates actually where the Team USA men's program is right now. Janowitz, a longtime team member and the father figure of the group here. And at the opposite end of that spectrum, Sean Wilcox, just 20 years old and a first-year team member. And right in between, E.J. Tackett, a star on the PBA Tour, and a few years under his belt on Team USA. Found recent success at the World Men's Championships in Hong Kong. So kind of 3 stages of Team USA competition, and everybody having a good time here this week with some team building, getting to know each other and the new teammates, and of course some pretty intense competition on what now is 4 different World Bowling lane conditions. Nice washout pickup there for EJ. Over on our ladies pair, we've got 2 of our longest tenured Team USA members, Shani Blahowski and Stephanie Johnson. Stephanie making her 15th consecutive appearance on Team USA. Shani Blahowski nearly at 2 decades. She's the lone left-hander here on the ladies team. And they are joined by the young Sydney Brummett, just removed from that Wichita State bowling program and now chasing her dreams as a professional bowler and collegiate coach. If you're curious about any of the details for this week's event, if you look there in the top right of your chat window, you'll see 3 other icons. First one is a star that will tell you the lane assignment for this game. You can obviously see all 6 of those players here in our featured pairs. Next tab over is a link to the tournament information that'll take you to the Pan Am qualifying page on bowl.com. You'll be able to see the standings and results there from the first 3 days, both individual days and overall. as well as an explanation of how the points process works here at the Pan Am Trials. We'll get into all that and more as things unfold. We do appreciate, again, everybody being here and joining us on the new Bowl TV. Jennifer Morgan, thank you for your dedication, and hope you enjoy the coverage of both events. Great opportunity to keep up with that, with what's happening all around the country. And hello to Teresa in the Virgin Islands. Melissa, thank you as well. Bentley, yes, that is correct. Wesley off competing for Wichita State now for the rest of the weekend. So he'll be obviously sitting out today's portion of the Pan Am Trials, but 3 solid days for him here on some tough conditions, getting a little bit sharp for the weekend. Game 1 of 6 moving along here. 39-foot Beijing oil pattern. It's one of those medium patterns, so players not going to be too far out or too far in. We'll get an opportunity to see all of these players one more time during the 6-game block, so you get to see how they start here in Game 1 and then see where they've migrated to by the time they return. Pretty interesting format in that regard. Again, welcome to all of those just joining us. My name is Matt Canizaro, and you're watching live coverage of the 2019 Pan Am Trials here at the ITRC in Arlington, Texas, the home of Team USA. And we've got 18 Team USA members in the building right now, competing on the 39-foot Beijing oil pattern. We've got 6 games, and the way that it works at this event, each day, again, 6 games on a different oil pattern. So there'll be rankings each day, 1 through 9 in this case. First place will get 1 point, second place 2 points, and so on. And that's for the 4 days. And then there's an overall pinfall list. Points will be doubled and assigned there. So the overall pinfall leader for the week will get 1 point, second place 2 points, and then we'll double those. So the goal is to have as few points as possible. If you get first place every day, that's 4 points. And if you're the overall pinfall leader, which you would be, that's another 2. So you'd have 6 points for the week. And Jacob Buttroff is looking to be that guy. He was the leader on the men's side all 3 days so far. So he has 3 points for the week. And this week's event will count towards 60% of the qualifying process for the Pan Am Games. The men will continue their qualifying at the USBC Masters. The women at the USBC Queens. That will account for the other 40%. It'll be a similar process. They'll compete against each other only. And they'll get points assigned to them based on their finishes in qualifying at those events and in the match play bracket should they get there. And then the 2 men and 2 women with the lowest point totals, when it's all over, will represent the United States at the Pan Am Games. And that comes up later this summer in Lima, Peru. The first game wrapping up now here in our featured pairs. Sydney Brummett at the open in the 10th there. She was yesterday's leader on the women's side. She finishes with 169. Shani Blahowski matches her. And then Stephanie Johnson will step up in the 10th. She can get to 205. Over on the men's pair, John Wilcox having a tough week a little bit here. Finishes with 175. John Janowitz can get to 205. He is clean this game. And EJ Tackett working on a double, 221 his max score. And in talking to Sean a little bit this week, just very humbled and grateful for this opportunity. He bowled very well at the Team USA trials in January. Earned a spot on both the adult version of Team USA and Junior Team USA. So a great learning opportunity for him. Come in and spend time with all these other great players and really pick up some things, as can they from him. Again, a very well-spoken and humble young man. Looking forward to working with him in the coming months. There's Tackett to close things out for us in game 1. After today's final game, we'll get a recap together for bowl.com. And that will focus on who the front runners are for these Pan Am trials. As I mentioned, things don't conclude now for a little while. USBC Masters is coming up end of March. Then the Queens will follow. And then we'll know who our representatives will be for the Pan American Games. And with that, game number 1 has concluded. We'll get situated here for game 2. They're going to bowl pretty fast today. Again, only 3 on a pair. And that will give you more time to go and check out some of the collegiate action. 4 sectional events going on around the country. Hundreds of collegiate bowlers on the lanes this weekend. All right, game number 2 underway now here in our featured pairs. Off to the left for the men, we've got A.J. Johnson, Marshall Kent, and Darren Tang. A.J., a recent addition to the Team USA roster for 2019, bringing the number to 13 on the men's side. And Marshall Kent, we heard from him earlier in the week here on our broadcast. He did sit out the first 2 days of qualifying, letting his hand rest a little bit. Torn up pretty well after a busy few weeks on the PBA Tour. He bowled yesterday, bowled well, and now back on the lanes today. Over on the women's side this game, we've got 2018 U.S. Women's Open champion Liz Culkin and newly elected USBC Hall of Famer Kelly Kulick. Also 2018 PWBA Rookie of the Year Jordan Richard. Jordan and Liz joined us in 2018 at the PAMCON Women's Championships and bowled well. And now back on Team USA for another go here in 2019. Pretty busy schedule for the Team USA program this year. Coming up next, the youngsters will head off to the inaugural World Junior Championships in Paris, France. That's coming up in just 1 week. They'll head out there, 16 and under, first edition of that event. Looking forward to seeing their success. We'll follow that up in April with the PAMCON Men's Championships. It'll be a first look at the new bowling center in Lima, Peru, same one that will host the Pan Am Games over the summer. So it'll be a nice information gathering opportunity. We'll announce the team members headed that way very, very soon. Then during the summer months, got the PAMCON Youth Championships in the Dominican Republic. Follow that with the World Women's Championships in Las Vegas. And then the World Senior Championships also in Las Vegas. And if you're age 50 and older and eligible to compete for the U.S., you're a USBC member, you can apply. Turn in your resume, potentially be selected for that senior team. You can find the details for that at bowl.com/teamusa. again, we appreciate everybody being here on Bull TV. I know some of you have experienced having some technical issues. Others of you prefer to listen with the sound off or watch with the sound off. That's fine too. As far as the buffering and such, we are aware that there have been some moments of buffering and such, and that blackout they saw a few minutes ago was our technical folks making some tweaks as well. Again, first time with 5 broadcasts across the country, and we appreciate everybody's patience there. Some of you might have seen all of this rolled out slowly since the Team USA trials in January. But once you dive in there, check out all the great features of the new Bull TV, including the lab and the vault, and much more coming down the road. So thank you all for checking in with us, and hope you enjoy the coverage the rest of the way today. We know there's some mixed reviews out there. Just give it a chance. Again, check out all those great features. Definitely good stuff. Good stuff happening here at the Pan Am Trials as well. Darren Tang has the front 4 here in our featured pair. Today's pattern, 39-foot Beijing. 4th different pattern of the week. We started day 1 with 41-foot Rome. Day 2 was the 36-foot Stockholm. And yesterday, 44-foot London. Now we're at 39 feet. And the way that works with the oil patterns is that each year, World Bowling puts together a group of about a dozen patterns. And this year it's bank 30 and bank 40. So everything in bank 30 is 30 feet to 39 feet, and 40 is 40 to 49, give or take. 6 patterns in each. That way, everybody around the world has the opportunity to know what patterns are available for international competition. They can lay them out just as we have here at the ITRC. And then when we head to an event with Team USA, the event either will let them know that it will be bank 30 or bank 40 that it's used, and they'll find out the pattern on site, or they'll just let everybody know what the pattern is ahead of time, and they can practice and get ready. past the halfway point now of game 2. Things moving along on our final day of competition here at the ITRC. As we wait for the standings update. Let's take a look at the first 3 days. On day 1, 41-foot Rome. It was Jacob Buttroff averaging nearly 40 pins. Better than the rest of the field. On the ladies' side, it was Missy Parkin earning that top spot. On day 2, same deal on the men's side. Jacob Buttroff with a phenomenal day. He actually bowled 300 on day 1 and day 2. Opened up a huge lead in the overall standings. And for the ladies, it was Shannon O'Keefe and Stephanie Johnson. And yesterday, Buttroff again came through, taking the top spot by 33 pins over Nick Pate. And for the ladies, it was Sydney Brummett over Stephanie Johnson. So Stephanie, second all 3 days. And in the overall, after 3 days, Buttroff on top by a bunch. More than 300 pins ahead of EJ Tackett. And for the ladies' overall pin fall, Stephanie Johnson is the front runner. All right, time for the 10th frame now here in our featured pairs. On the ladies' side, split in the final frame for Liz Culkin. She finishes with 202. Kelly Kulik can add 10 more for 213. And Jordan Richard, strike up, can get to 181. AJ Johnson delivers. He get to 224. Darren Tang with the missed single pin after the hot start. He has 7 out of the first 8. Pair opens, he can get to 231. And Marshall Kent, similar situation, had 3 consecutive opens. Working on a 4-bagger. Get to 222. A little more trouble for Marshall Kent there in the 10th. 7-10 on lane 9. He's going to give this one a run, though. Doesn't quite get there. So 3 splits and a missed single pin from Marshall. Strikes the rest of the way, 188. AJ Johnson, 220. Darren Tang, 209. Les Culkin, 202. Jordan Richard, 167. And Kelly Kulik, 211. We will have game number 3 coming up here in just a few moments as we near the halfway point of our final day of competition here at the Pan Am Trials. My name is Matt Canizaro. You're watching live coverage from the International Training and Research Center in Arlington, Texas, the home of Team USA. Talk more about that in our next game coming up, folks. We do appreciate you being here. Game 3 right around the corner. We'll be right back. And we are back. Game number 3. Quickly underway. Joining us on the men's pair, Nick Pate, Jacob Butchup, and Perry Crowell. And for the ladies, we've got Josie Barnes, Missy Parkin, and Shannon O'Keefe. Know we've got at least one Shannon O'Keefe fan in the chat room today. Anybody else? Any other favorites out there? After today, we'll be 60% on the way to knowing our representatives for the 2019 Pan Am Games. 2 men and 2 women will head to Peru over the summer. If you missed any of the action from this week at the ITRC, you can find each day archived here on Bowl TV. 4 different oil patterns. Very successful week for Jacob Butchup so far. We've also had 4 perfect games, 3 of which came right here on Bowl TV. Jacob had 1, and 1 that was not on Bowl TV. And Shannon O'Keefe and Kelly Kulik added 1 each as well. And we've had highlights and recaps all week long as well on our social media channels. Make sure to find us on Facebook, The Sport of Bowling USBC, and on Twitter, at USBC. A lot of good stuff there. And again, not just Team USA related, but all USBC. We do have standings through 2 games here on this 39-foot Beijing oil pattern. And through 2 games on the men's side. Leading the way. Any guesses? We'll start with the ladies, and we'll let you guess and see who's leading the men's. For the women, Kelly Kulik leading the way at 398 after 2. Jordan Richard, 393. Missy Parkin, 392. Stephanie Johnson, 382. Shannon O'Keefe, 363. Josie Barnes, 361. Shani Blahowski, 360. Liz Colkin, 337. And Sydney Brummett, 336. So on the ladies' side, looks like this 39-foot Beijing old pattern playing very tough. And I remember seeing it in the last year or two at an international event, but off the top of my head, can't think of which one it is, and I remember it being equally challenging. But it's all relative. You're just trying to beat the people you're bowling with, not trying to break any records necessarily. And on the men's side, guesses are correct. Jacob Buttrop leading the way. 439 after 2. Nick Pate, 423. Sean Wilcox, 415. EJ Tackett, 403. Darren Tang, 398. Marshall Kent, 396. John Genoa, 395. Perry Crowell, 377. And AJ Johnson, 361. So, also playing a little bit tough for the men. And this is just one of those patterns when you get to 38, 39 feet, a little bit tricky. Kind of that medium length. Not sure if you need to play in or play out. And you can attack it, I'm sure, from multiple ways. Sometimes with people trying different things, makes it even trickier. So far this game, Perry Crowell and Nick Pate having a nice time. Perry 4 for 4. And Nick spare 3-bagger. All right, so Crowell still perfect. Up now on lane 9, looking to stay that way. We've seen 4 300s this week. 3 of them came on the 36-foot pattern, and that one not getting back. 1-2-4 is the result. We saw a similar result for Darren Tang. The same situation here last game. Buttriff up on lane 10, just 1 strike so far at the halfway point. Add 1 more. Jacob most likely going to be the overall leader this week. He's got 3 first place finishes and leading here on day 4 as well. In the overall standings, through 20 games, Jacob leads Nick Pate by 428 pins. Jacob averaging 241.15, Nick at 219.75. Followed by E.J. Tackett, A.J. Johnson, Darren Tang, John Janowitz, Perry Crowell, Sean Wilcox, and then Wesley Lowe and Marshall Kent, the bottom 2. Wesley only bowled 18 games. Bowled the first 3 days. Now he's off at collegiate sectionals with Wichita State. And Marshall Kent bowled yesterday, and he's bowling today, so he's only got 8 games in, but averaging 216. For the ladies, Stephanie Johnson is leading Shannon O'Keefe by 75 pins. Stephanie averaging 216.85. O'Keefe second. Kulik, Brummett, Richard, Pluhowski, Parkin, Barnes, and Liz Culkin. So in the standings, we've got 10 men and 9 women. And the other team members unable to make it to this week's event. We've got 19 of the 25 on the rosters. right, just like that, frame 10 is here for the ladies. Missy Park can roll on this game, working on a four-bagger going into the 10th. She gets a 269. Shannon O'Keefe working on a strike as well, 215 her max. And Josie Barnes, three-bagger, 789. After a rough start, 205 will be it for her. Parkin adds the first one. If you're curious about any of the lane conditions this week or the standings from the first 3 days, click on the third tab there at the top right of your screen. First one being the chat. Third one in should be a link to the tournament information page. Tell you everything you need to know about the Pan Am Games qualifying. right. Excellent performance there by Missy Park in 269. Shannon O'Keefe finishes with 204. 184 for Josie Barnes over on the men's pair. Terrific effort as well from Nick Pate, 231. Perry Crowell got off to a good start with the front five. He'll finish with 245. And our early leader here on day 4, Jacob Butchef, has not doubled here in game 3. Gets the first one there. So he can max at 194. Again, scores a little bit lower here on this 39-foot Beijing pattern. After 2 games, Butchef was 16 pins ahead of Nick Pate. Pate now will go around him, obviously, because math. We're just at the halfway point. So 3 more games to go before we see who our daily leaders are. Again, we'll have a recap on bowl.com and let you know where we stand. After today, we'll be 60% of the way through this Pan Am Trials qualifying. The other 40% will take place for the men during the USBC Masters and for the women at the USBC Queens. Points being awarded each day based on finish and then overall for the week. Same thing will happen at those major events coming up. At those tournaments, the players will continue to compete only against other Team USA members. So, at the Masters, there'll be 13 men, most likely. And if you're the highest of them all, you get the 1 point, the first place point, whether you finish first or 101st. And then those points will be added to what we get this week. And we'll know our qualifiers. Moving along, game number 4 underway. Saw these gentlemen earlier today. Now they're back. Again, you can see how they're playing the lanes differently now than they were in game number 1. We got Sean Wilcox, EJ Tackett, and John Janowitz. And for the ladies, Sydney Brummett, Stephanie Johnson, and Shannon Plachowski. Standings updated now through 3 games. As noted, Nick Pate making his way to the top of the standings for today, 654. Marshall Kent, 642. EJ Tackett, 635. Some big games coming in Game 3 for the right-handers, at least. So things seem to be on the up now as the 39-foot pattern starts to transition. Jacob Butchiff down to 4th place at 623. Perry Crowell, 622. Darren Tang, 610. John Janowitz, 595. A.J. Johnson, 590. And Sean Wilcox, 577. For the ladies, Missy Parkins shot 269 last game. Catapulted back into the lead as she did with 2 big games on Tuesday. 661 for her. Kulik, 643. Jordan Richard, 575. Bluhowski, 567. Tied with O'Keefe. Stephanie Johnson is 6th, 566. Josie Barnes, 545. Liz Colkin, 522. And Sydney Brummett, 516 after 3. And the overall standings, Butchiff still well out in front on the men's side, dropping his average a little bit today. Overall, he's only at 238.4 now. And for the ladies, Stephanie Johnson still holding on through 21 games. She's at 45.21. Shannon O'Keefe second, 44.66. Game 4 of 6. At the conclusion, catch up with our leaders. Do that before we pack up. This will end our coverage of the Pan Am Trials for this week. And then we'll turn all the excitement over to our sectional friends, Aaron Smith, Emil Williams Jr., Brant Houghton, and Jason Thomas, all at different locations around the United States, bringing you the top collegiate action for the weekend. I'll be heading back to Las Vegas for the start of the 2019 USBC Open Championships. Kicks off tomorrow. Will run for 122 consecutive days until July 8th. Still time to enter if you haven't already. It is looking like probably lunchtime in various time zones across the USA. And if you're just joining us, welcome. This is continued coverage of the 2019 Pan Am Trials for Team USA. My name is Matt Cannizzaro, and we are live here behind lanes 9 through 12 at the International Training and Research Center in Arlington, Texas, the home of Team USA. Our final day of competition. Fourth oil pattern of the week. We've got about 2.5 games to go. And then we'll have a good look at our front runners for the Pan Am qualifying process. Hopefully you're taking good notes on how the players are playing all these patterns. If you want to come out and try them, you can do so here at the ITRC. Staff will be able to work with you on laying those out. You can practice for a small fee, or you can set up customized lessons for a half day or a full day. So the ITRC, not just for the elite players, but open to all USBC members. we saw some big scores last game. And it looked like maybe the lanes were transitioning favorably for the players, but Team 4 looking a little bit tough once again. The gentleman now in the 10th frame, Sean Wilcox. He's a spare machine here after the early double. Best he can do is 187. Janowitz will step up on the right lane, working on a strike, can get to 217. And Tackett with a nice effort here in game 4. He still has 238 out there. Everybody chasing Nick Pate. So it looks like can get to the 220s with one more hit in the 10th. A couple pairs to our left. Unfortunate finish for Wilcox, ends with 176. On the ladies' side, still in the 9th frame. Final tallies coming up here momentarily. AJ Johnson off to our right, 221. Not a bad effort at all. Buttroff is to our left and bowling okay. He can get to 234 with all three in the 10th. Trouble there for Tackett. Missing the head pin, so 225 best he can do. Nick Pate looks like 223 with a strike here in the fill, so EJ not going to make up any ground. Janowitz doubles up once again. Tell you what, we talk about Tommy Jones being Mr. Clutch for Team USA. But I think given the opportunity, Janowitz could be that guy as well. We've seen him serve that role in many other platforms. Also with Team USA in the past. At some of the lower profile events. Timeless style and such a wealth of knowledge, Mr. Janowitz, winning the Team USA trials this year. Oldest competitor to do so. All three for JJ. 217, his final score. Ten frame for the ladies, trouble for Pluhowski. It's a messy game. So she 379, give it a run, gets 2. 165. Sydney Brummett, 177 with the spare here, and Stephanie Johnson can wrap things up with 214. Made a couple splits here in the 7th and 8th. Final shots here for Johnson. Again, 214 her max. She's our overall leader on the women's side. And we'll have game number 5 coming up here in just one moment. Folks, thanks for being here on Bowl TV. My name is Matt Canizaro. I'll be right back. 2 games to go. All right, smooth transition now into game number 5. A.J. Johnson is feeling it. Had a big game in game 4. 2 out of 3 here in game 5. He's joined on our men's pair by Marshall Kent and Darren Tang. And for the ladies, we have Liz Colkin, Jordan Richard, and Kelly Kulik once again. And look at Darren Tang wheeling it from way downtown. 3 for 3. Again, 39-foot Beijing oil pattern. Can be attacked from multiple angles and Darren now has found a look. Marshall, similar spot. I say these are three gentlemen, incredibly versatile. It's not uncommon in the same event to see them playing over the left gutter and then up the right gutter. Now having a little fun, getting left and just opening up the lane a little bit. Terrific shot there from AJ. You like that one? Darren 4 for 4. They're seeing something here they're liking. It's a matter of staying calm, making good shots. Really, when you see a pair that gives you a look like this, take advantage. And all three gentlemen are doing that. Doesn't mean it's going to be there on the next pair for game 6, so you get it when you can. And hope that you can find it when you get to your next pair. Darren Tang 5 for 5, sliding in the left gutter. These guys have moved left and found some hold. Hook to the right, hold in the middle. That's all you can ask for. Marshall Kent, upper deck 7, goes late. These guys, 13 out of 15 here to start game number 5. This is the farthest left we've seen anybody all day, and obviously paying off here. And not that time. A little too fast, a little too wide. Johnson misses the head pin. Here's Darren Tang, trying to make it 6 for 6. The slow wheel. And he mixes them up. Scores now through 4 games. Nick Pate still on top, 877. Marshall Kent close behind at 873 and looking to close that gap quickly here in game 5. EJ Tackett, 858. Buttriff, 831. John Janowitz, 812. AJ Johnson, 811. Barry Crowell, 810. Darren Tang, 803. And Sean Wilcox, 753. For the ladies, Missy Parkin going well. Jumping into the top spot with 269 in game 3. Followed that up with 217. She is at 878. Kelly Kulik, 821. Josie Barnes, 811. Shannon O'Keefe, 780. Stephanie Johnson, 770. Liz Culkin, 767. Jenny Prohowski, 732. Jordan Richard, 716. And Sydney Brummett, 693. In the overall standings, Buttriff still out in front on the men's side. Stephanie Johnson holding on for the ladies. Again, points assigned each day based on their finish. And then overall pinfall will get you points times 2. Darren Tang's run ended after 6, 3 consecutive 9 counts. Marshall Kent's run at 290 ends in the 9th frame with the 610. All right, final frame for the men. A.J. Johnson, open there in the middle. Can get to 224. Darren Tang, very well bowled game. 257, his max. .224 for Johnson, 257 for Mr. Tang. Marshall Kent can top that. Get to 268 here. Make a move on the top spot. Nick Pate off to our right. Can get to 226. So Nick just 4 pins ahead of Marshall. So now they will flip-flop for sure. Lady Spare in the 10th frame now. Kelly Kulik up on lane 11, 234. Her max had a split in the 8th. Liz Culkin started the game with a split, but bowled well the rest of the way. She can get to 246, having a rough day, but seemed to be in good spirits here at the start of game number 5. And then Jordan Richard bowling a no-tap 300. Clean through 9. You can get to 216. spare here. Marshall Kent will be at 258. They're putting him about 40 ahead of Nick Pate going into the last game. Richards adds one more 9 count. It's the importance of making your spares, though. She's grinded here in a tough condition. 205 is a great score today. She had all 205. She'd definitely be in the mix on the lady side. Hello, Stan from Maine. Welcome. Just in time. Got one game left. Jordan Richard. Strike on the fill, of course. So 245 for Culkin, 205 for Richard, 234 for Kelly Kulik. And we now will get ready for game number 6. Final game of the week. Coming up here in just a few minutes, folks. We appreciate it. You're watching live coverage of the 2019 Team USA Pan Am Trials. We'll be right back. right, and here we are, our final game of the day, of the week even. We're at the Pan Am Trials for Team USA. This game, we are joined by Nick Pate, Jacob Buttroff, and Perry Crowell. Over on the ladies' pair, Shannon O'Keefe, Josie Barnes, and Missy Parkin. Go ahead and drop the files for the latest standings so you can see what's happening not only today, but overall. At the conclusion of this game, players will have bowled 24 games this week on 4 different oil patterns. True test of versatility. Of course, you probably want to have your most versatile players representing you on the lanes. All right, Game 5 standings are posted if you'd like to take a look at the Pan Am page on bowl.com. Go ahead and read them to you. Leading the way today on this 39-foot Beijing pattern, Marshall Kent, 1131. Nick Pate, 1093. Darren Tang, 1060. E.J. Tackett, 1046. Jacob Buttroff, 1038. A.J. Johnson, 1035. John Janowitz, 993. Perry Crowell, 970. And Sean Wilcox at 955. So Marshall Kent with a comfortable lead with 1 game to go. Marshall, remember, didn't bowl the first 2 days of the event. So he got the lowest amount of points. It's actually the same points as the players who aren't even here. We had 9 players bowl those first 2 days. Anybody else received 10 points. Marshall bowled yesterday, bowled well, and now leading the way today, but might not be enough time left in the process for him to make it to Pan Am, but definitely a good couple days of practice for him. On the ladies' side, Missy Parkin out in front, 1094. She leads Kelly Kulik 10:55. Liz Colkin 10:12. After a 135 start, Liz had back-to-back 245 games to get into third place and to get on the plus side. Josie Barnes is fourth, 1,009. Stephanie Johnson fifth, 941. Jordan Richard 921. Shannon O'Keefe 918. Sydney Brummett jumps a spot at 896, and Shannon Pluhowski with the final spot at 877. Overall, Jacob Butchoff still leading the way, averaging 235.74. And for the ladies, leading by less than 30 pins now, Stephanie Johnson. So it could get interesting on the ladies' side overall. Again, it's points. When it's all said and done, that will determine everything. So hopefully we'll get that calculation done pretty quickly after today's final block. Stephanie Johnson leading the way. Kulik second. Shannon O'Keefe third. Sydney Brummett fourth in overall pinfall. Missy Parkin, Jordan Richard, Josie Barnes, Liz Colkin, and Shannon Pluhowski is ninth. Marshall Kent for his 11 games, averaging 224.55. So average-wise, that would be enough for second place overall, but two very tough patterns to start the week as well. First day, 41-foot Rome. Day 2, 36-foot Stockholm. Yesterday, 44-foot London, and now Beijing at 39 feet. So Marshall, 38 pins ahead of Nick Pate going into the final game. Nick right here in our featured pair, bowling well. Or that daily number could get interesting. Off to the left, Marshall Kent having a rough final game here. Best he can do is 188. He'll need the next 4 to do that. And Nick Pate bowling well. He can get to 239. Butcher putting together a nice final game as well. All right, final frame. Nick Pate, nice finish. 228. He'll finish at plus 93 for the day. And Marshall Kent, again, having a rough finale. So he still can maintain his lead if he finishes strong. Perry Crowell, 203. Jacob Butchuff working on a string here. 5 going into the 10th frame. Butchuff adds 1 more. Looks like something clicked for him here late in the day. All right, Butcher finishes with 255. That'll give him a nice bump in the standings today. No concern for him being the overall point leader after the week. Finished first the first 3 days and outdistanced the field by quite a bit in the pinfall category. And on our ladies pair, Missy Parkin finishes with 183. Shannon O'Keefe unable to double up in the 10th. So 186 her max score. Sorry, 196. And Josie Barnes gets the first hit. She can get to 189. Apologize for any technical trouble folks are having out there, and unfortunately unkind words there. Typical USBC, and sometimes it's the internet situation. A little bit out of our control at times. We appreciate everybody's patience and staying with us and tuning in throughout the day. Don't forget we have 4 sectional events going on as well this weekend from New Jersey, Illinois, here in Dallas, and in Tennessee. So top collegiate action happening all around the nation. The Bowl TV team at each of those events: Jason Thomas, Emil Williams Jr., Brant Houghton, Aaron Smith. So tune in, see what they have for you. And for us here at the ITRC, we're about to call it a day from the Pan Am Trials. We'll have a recap for you on Bowl.com later tonight so you can see what's what. Standings will be updated shortly as well. We do appreciate everybody being here for these 24 games over 4 days, 4 tough patterns. Jacob Butchoff pulled incredibly well and pulled a couple 300 games. So, again, he looks like he's going to be the front runner heading into the USBC Masters for the men. Stephanie Johnson should have held on for the top spot on the ladies' side. She'll be the point leader going into the USBC Queens. All of that unofficial. We'll have those numbers and more coming up in just a little while. Folks, again, I appreciate all of the support throughout the week. And I'll be back on Bowl TV somewhere down the road. But for now, you know how it goes, folks. That's the news for now. We'll see you on the lanes.